Is it on? Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. God, this is great. This is the biggest audience, in-house audience we've had all week. So thank you very much for coming. Hi, Vanessa. So I'm Fiona Kingsman. I'm Deputy Chief Executive at Creative Folkestone. This is the last event of our Open Quarter series this year. Over the last week, some of you might have seen some of it, we've been celebrating this incredible diversity and the resilience of this amazing creative community that we have here in Folkestone. It's been a very tough year for the artists, independent businesses, those working in the creative industries, but we're still here, we're still going from strength to strength. The Creative Quarter is still taking on new faces, new buildings, new spaces. We've got new buildings that have just opened at the other end of Mill Bay. And this, for us, is a new space. We've just been looking downstairs. So, again, things are moving on. So this space has now been taken over by Screen South as part of the Folkestone Digital Hub for the Hi3 Network. We'll talk to you more about that. But basically, it's a collaboration between London South Bank University, Maidstone Television Studios, Canterbury Christchurch University, Screen South and Creative Folkestone. We'll let you know more about that as we present. But first, I'd just like to thank the European Union for their support through a project that we've Creative Folkestone been working on, Cupido, and the Hi3 Network project itself. So, let's get started. I'd like to introduce you to Joe Nolan, the Managing Director of Screen South. I'm also just in terms of Hi3, I'm James Dartnell at the back of the room, who is the new Screen South Hi3 Digital Hub Manager and Community Manager, and Barbara. Is Barbara here? Oh, Barbara's gone, because she's the PA to the manager and she's the new Creatives Project Coordinator. So shall I let you, shall I hand over to you and you can talk to the people, because you've got people on screen as well here. So,
do I need to talk through this for for the stream? Okay. I feel like I need to do a dance now, though. I've got that. Thank you so much for coming at 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. Really appreciate you making the time to come and find out what we're up to. There's a little glass of wine afterwards for those of you who can stay around. So we've got nowhere to put it at the moment because we've got all the kit out. So please do stay. Just to give an overview of what we're going to be doing. I'm Jo Nolan, I'm the MD of Screen South, but I also run a lot of projects within Screen South. So we're very direct delivery focused. We don't kind of sit in a ivory tower pressing buttons. We tend to develop projects, create projects, get on with projects, and we deliver them as well as kind of initiate them. So this evening, we're going to be looking at what's Screen South. We're also going to be talking about what's a Hi3 Network, and we're also going to be talking about a programme that we've delivered over the last 2 years called New Creatives, which is a partnership with BBC Arts and the Arts Council. And I have got a presentation, which I promise I won't spend too long on. But what I'm going to do first is just tell you a little bit about us. Oh, Barbara, you're going to be my right-hand person here. So what does Screen South do? We work across screen, arts, heritage, and interactive. That's been our bag. We started out as a regional screen agency with the Film Council many moons ago. This year is our 20th anniversary. So sometime soon, we'll be inviting you all back for a big party to celebrate that. So we were film orientated. Now we work across all areas of screen. We work in the arts across arts projects, kind of creative-led gallery programs. We work very much with artists, filmmakers, choreographers, maybe who've never made a film before, done anything on screen before, musicians who want to do something more collaborative. So we have a really open, agnostic approach to screen. We don't just sit and let's do a narrative 3-act structure. It's like, what can we do differently? What can we provoke? What can we innovate with? How can we take a different perspective, not just on the story, but on the making? And we are always looking for creatives and technicians who want to work together and address that. And we've been very lucky over the last couple of years to find some great people who want to do that together on our interactive programme. I'll come back to that. So within our arts work, that's where we're leading. We also do an awful lot of work around heritage, arts and digital together. So we ran a programme for a few years called Hidden History of Place. And it was about unearthing places around access history, around the history of disability, those places that had been lost and forgotten, or probably, I don't know, knocked down even in terms of many of those stories, and using digital to create that history and space again so people could explore, and using digital in that way in terms of heritage work. And Interactive, we'll talk about that later because it's been a big part of what we're doing. We've been working on something called Create Converge, which was it ended up being a 5-year programme. We've just finished it, which is a partnership, cross-sector, working across 12 European partners and looking at how creative artists can work across the wider sectors and bring innovation either to product or, service development, but also how, of course, in communicating what those sectors have got to offer. So that's been a really interesting programme of work. So tonight we're going to talk about Hi3. Do you want to just... Have I gone on? Oh, no, look, there we go. There we go. I missed that lovely slide. So just reiterating that this is what we work across. We try and collaborate and network and try and not leave things in just one silo. My favourite area to work in is between the silos. Where, what's that? What's that bit there? What's going on in the gap? That's my favourite bit. We run the BFI Film Academy, which those of you who know any 16 to 19-year-olds who are interested in a career in film, which is funded by the BFI and is about filmmaking in its broadest sense. We're going to be running that from the middle of October. I think the deadline's the 10th of October, 11th of October. And we're doing a whole load of programmes at schools around the area, around Kent, to try and get 20 really great young people who are going to celebrate the 10th year of the BFI Film Academy. So Hi3 Network. Hi3 Network, as Fiona was just saying, is a partnership between London South Bank University. It's been led. Delighted to have Lizzie Jackson here tonight. Thanks, Lizzie. Lizzie is the lead investigator, professor from London South Bank, who has been leading this programme. Basically, it's a 3-year programme, although we're nearly into beginning of year 2, really, aren't we? Because of the whole hiatus with the pandemic. We've done a lot of talking in the last year, a lot of planning, but we've only just started to recruit and actually start to put, some, equipment down in various places. But the reason why Screen South are here and not over the road, as many of you know, we used to be over 10 yards away, is because we're setting up a digital hub here. And in 3 months' time, this will be a green screen studio, believe it or not. And it will have the facilities to be able to do live capture in the room, and it will be something that, I keep saying it's going to be a play area, because for 2 years we've got funding to support a cohort of makers, creators, inquirers, players who have an idea or creative investigation or something they want to try out within the whole world of digital on-screen making. And we'll be offering courses, programs. We'll come on to what we'll be offering. But so it's basically, Hi3 is, this is quite good. Vanessa did this, who's the project manager for everybody. But why is it Hi3? Because it's high tech, high res, high spec. So we're very ambitious about what we're going to be doing. We've been doing New Creatives, and that's been a very ambitious programme in BBC Arts. We're going for international recognition, collaboration, starting at a local level with 2 people who've got an idea. That's what we'd love to see happen. And I'd love to see that happen from Folkestone. I could let Lizzie say a little bit more about it in a minute, but there really are some fantastic opportunities working between we'll go on to the next slide, connecting with experts, connecting with studios, connecting through private networks, and connecting through the cloud. We're actually negotiating a full high-end spec connectivity infrastructure that this Folkestone hub will be linked to Maidstone Studios and Canterbury Christchurch and their studio set up there, and with London South Bank as kind of a London connection, with the idea that you can work collaboratively from this base with people in those bases, but it might be that also you want to connect with some international partners as well. So we're looking at that as being a research, but also an output opportunity. So you can develop and research, but also think about how can you get your pilot out to market, out to business, out to audiences, and there will be ways that you can do that through this whole network. So Canterbury, Maidstone, Folkestone, I think you all know where they are, don't you? So there you go. That's what it's looking like, as a sort of triangle of activity. So what we'll be doing is we'll be focusing on this, what we call level 1, but 12 hours of support. That 12 hours support is basically going to be a lot more than 12 hours support, because we're going to be running, I think it's every 3 weeks from middle of October, we're going to be running networking evenings here. So you can learn, explore, network, develop ideas, and then work with us to see what would be good for you to take further. So we'll be networking and learning, masterclasses, workshops, and then kind of residentials, we're calling them sandboxes, where 2 to 3 days. So we've worked with a lot of you, we've scoped out what you're interested in. Right, a lot of you are talking about dance, VR and interactive. Let's get some choreographers, let's get some VR practitioners, let's get some technicians together, and let's have 3 days where we explore that, which is, I'm really looking forward to that, because that is going to happen. Or it might be that you're talking about virtual production and green screen, and just that kind of, how can I take this, maybe it's a corporate service that you're looking at, or something that you're going, how does that actually work? And we can do that from here, linking up with Maidstone. Or we might say, we're going to do the development here, and we're going to go and do it all live from Maidstone, because you might want to use motion capture. And they will be specialising in motion capture. So all these phrases and ideas that you've heard about before, but you've never actually had a chance to get your hands on and figure out how it works, that's what you'll be able to do through the Hi3 Network. Of course, it might be that you just want to approach a film or a TV idea in a different way. You might want to do something with the marketing, the promotion of it, or the kind of the visual effects behind it. It might be just expanding something that you haven't done before, but other people have done. It's not necessarily new to the world, but it's new to you. And I think it's really important that, if it's new to you, that's good for us. So I won't go into all of this. This is all going to be up on our website, but it's just an opportunity for you to see that there's level 1, and we are going to be level 1, because we are not a university. We are Screen South based here. We develop talent, we develop ideas, and we work with people to support them through pathways and give them the technical and creative opportunities. But if you are thinking about, you've got something that really does require some significant research and partnership from somebody who's researching into this area at the 2 universities that we're working with, and there are a lot of very interesting people working in those universities, in the research departments, they will work with you. If you've got something you're thinking, how the hell can I link that to that and make that technically work to do something creatively very different, then Lizzie and the team will be going out to researchers and saying, this is a challenge. Is there somebody out there who's done this before? We've already started on it this week with 20 companies. And it's been really interesting seeing how even more established companies are going, but I can't make A meet B and don't know how to make. And the researchers in the university, of course, that's just gold dust to them, and it will give them an opportunity for some really interesting collaborations. Okay, the client journey. This is all very technical, but there you go. So the client journey is coming into the membership days, coming to the networks, coming to the evenings, and just opening up, finding out what's going on. As a company, you might be working in one area, creative or technical. You want to find about something a bit wider, just come and listen, talk. There's no commitment for you to actually do anything. But if you want to move in and be then taking part, we've got a digital lounge downstairs. We're going to have up to 10 workstations down there. We've got 2 edit suites. One's going to be quite high-tech with an Atmos room in it. The other one, they'll all be broadcast standard. And then we're working with the Folkestone Academy FM to have that as a podcast room downstairs and, voiceover, a small sound space down there. So there's lots of areas for you to learn, collaborate, develop, and then you can think about going into the innovation side and delivering something that we'd scope out with you and give you support, advice and guidance on to move into the next area, which hopefully would offer some professional and commercial opportunities for you. I just thought I'd show you, because we look like, what? You haven't got a green screen studio? Maidstone Studios looks like that at the moment. Well, it did a couple of months ago. And this is their dock where everything comes in. They've turned that, if you want to go to the next one, into workstation upstairs, and then these windows here look down on that, which is going to be a new studio. And that is part of the network. So I would say we're going to be the development studio here, although you can do pro delivery here. And then if you want to move up and do something that is actually a bit more high spec, high-end delivery, we'd be working with Maidstone as part of the network. So I just thought I'd show you that, because although we don't look like we're ready, it will be fantastic when we get to the next stage. Okay, next one. So new creatives. I just thought it would be nice to show you 4 projects that would have been, had we been working on this last year, these would have been Hi3 partnership programs that we worked on with BBC and BBC Arts and Arts Council. So we commissioned 4 interactive projects. And do you want to just bring up the next slide? So Jingjing Shen has done a project called Singularity. Cody Wren, Dictonomy, Molly and Adam are here. Philip 21, which is a taster BBC new branching narrative story platform. And Henry Driver's Secrets of Soul, who can't join us but sent a little video, is an interactive game. And what I'm going to do is ask them, I've got them all joining me on Zoom or in the room. And we're just going to have a little talk through each one. If you've got any questions, please ask, let me know. And then we've got them set up around the room, so you'll be able to play them. And a glass of wine, if you like that too. So, any questions about the Hi3 network? I've just realised. Didn't ask it. It's very exciting. We're absolutely, can't wait to get cracking on it. Although we are cracking on it already, really, but it's just a really good opportunity, and I'm delighted that Lizzie and the South Bank University, opened it up to Folkestone, to Creative Folkestone. It's just such an exciting opportunity because it's free for 2 years, So if you're a company or a freelancer or a sole trader and you're developing something and you just think, that sounds interesting, you can come here and just go, that kind of sounds interesting, and I'd like to find out more about it, and ask those questions and develop those opportunities. Or if you are already, working in high creative tech end of the business, and you want to have some resources and space, you can do that too. Okay? And resources and space. You've gone to the end. We haven't finished it. Can you go back to? Oh, you're putting it on. So let's bring in the Zoom. Are you there? Hello, Barbara. You could turn it onto the audience so they can see
Hello.
who's here. That would be.
There we go.
There you go.
Hi.
Look, a little bit more.
Little
There
more.
they are. That's everybody in the room.
Hello.
So thank you for joining us, guys, tonight. I'm going to start off with Jingjing, if you just want to pin Jingjing. Hi, Jingjing.
Hello. Hi, Joe. Hi, everyone.
So Jingjing Shen, do you just want to introduce yourself and just tell us how you got into contact with Screen South and what the new creative opportunity, what you saw as being useful about that opportunity?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jingjing, and I'm an artist. I'm a designer and as well as a researcher, and I obtained my degrees from Glassworks and Royal College of Art, and I'm currently a PhD candidate at the University of Creative Arts. From the beginning, Joe came to our university and gave a talk about the development scheme, the talent development scheme, and that's how I know about the whole thing, the new creatives. Yeah.
And at what stage were you at when you applied for the project, for the opportunity? I have to say that this was a £20,000 commission in partnership with Screen South and BBC Arts and BBC R&D. So it was quite tough, to get the commission. It wasn't just kind of, oh yeah, all right then, let's have you. And we actually only selected one yaw round because there really was only one that was kind of meeting the brief. The brief being, has to be led by a creative artist. It's not a narrative story or a straight documentary. It has to have, it's working with BBC Arts and R&D, and it's working with the Arts Council. So it really had to have a creative driver. So could you just talk through what you pitched to us originally, and then maybe talk about how that developed and what the program was like for you in terms of what the outcome was?
Yeah. I'll just start to talk about how my idea grows. Originally, because I'm doing my PhD research, and my research is situates speed as a key to unlocking the entirety of the world and allowing us to read it. So I'm using speed as a vehicle that allows us to explore the complex interactions between the different phenomena. And this project is inspired by my personal experience of living in the accelerated world as well. So I'm exploring the rapid urbanization as well as technology advancements that occurred faster and faster in an increasingly digital world. So in my research, I explore just like theories from Ray Kurzweil and Stephen Shaviro, and I inspired by Ray Kurzweil's claim. He claims that the singularity will happen by 2045.
You
So
might want to just
that's where,
explain what singularity
yeah,
meant to you.
that's where the singularity comes from. So my project Singularity is an immersive virtual reality experience that combines different technologies, including 3D scanning and the virtual reality and immersive sound design. So so my project, I associate the relationship between racing games and Moore's law, and as well as the law of accelerating returns that appears in the history and development of humans' relationship with technology. So in racing game, players always can accelerate by collecting the props. So according to the law of accelerating returns, every time when a new technology is invented, the acceleration curve rises exponentially. So these two phenomena actually coincide. So in my work, I use the rationale, the structure of the racing game as the basis of designing the whole thing. So in this experience, the audience can explore many technology metaphors that we used in the past, as well as ones we used currently using, including mobile phones, Bluetooth, information superhighway, and chatbots, something like that. So the audience will experience the accelerating virtual reality world through observing and collecting the different metaphors. So finally, they will achieve singularity. That's my,
And
my
when
work.
they achieve singularity, what happens?
There will be a stunning scene we'll see. If you take a look at, if you experience my work, you will see. Yeah.
Barbara, do you just want to? Oh, she's gone out of the room. I'm just going to play the trailer, so I'm going to put you on.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying is that some people may not know what singularity means.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
You might just explain that while I'm just getting the trailer ready.
Yeah.
What does it mean, Jing Jing?
So singularity is a kind of describes a future that's where technology growth is out of control and irreversible.
Have you frozen, or are you being very still? Oh, well, you're not on the screen, so I could see on the computer screen you've gone very still. Do people understand what singularity is? Because I know it took me a little while to get my head around it, but I do. It's where the digital world and the real world merges. And it's that journey of the digital journey, you know, that from, as she just mentioned, there's a lot of researchers, and there's just very, very iconic moments in the world of the digital build, the digital journeys that we've been on for the last, I don't know, how long, Angus? 70 years?
A bit less than that, but yeah.
A bit less than that. So she's exploring all of that. So would you just like to play it, Barbara? Thanks.
Welcome to the simulation journey of singularity. Human beings have been living in a highly accelerated world. Technologies update quicker and quicker. Old versions have been abandoned in the dark forest. Are you ready?
It's a taster. It's a sizzle reel. Can I just get that out from underneath you for a minute? Because I need to talk. So that's going to be available. Thank you, Jing Jing. They just saw the trailer. I love the sound on that. We're now going to move on to Cody, but you can play it back there after in about 10, 20 minutes. Thanks very much. And I think you've got some, just a minute before you go, you've had some success with this program, haven't you? Do you just want to tell us about that? I have to stand over here because it's going through that, isn't it? I said you've had some success with the program, with your Singularity VR piece.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I just received the Asia Digital Art Prize in the Asia Digital Art Exhibition, which is the biggest exhibition related to digital arts in Asia.
She got the grand prize
in
Beijing.
And thank you, everybody.
Hooray!
And as well as actually,
so it's fantastic, you know. It's as a new artist, first opportunity, first creative VR piece, and then to go and win that prize is phenomenal. And thank you. So you work very closely with Hertfordshire University, because Peter Richardson, professor at Hertfordshire, not anymore, he's moved on now, was our exec producer, our partner on this programme as well. So we work very closely with Peter. And Peter brought in Cody, who we're going to introduce now, because Cody, bear in mind, a lot of these were happening through lockdown. You know, none of us, we've never sat in the same room. Yeah, myself and Jing Jing have, for about 6 months. And then we had to, as we went into production, we went into lockdown. So, yeah, it's been amazing, actually. What you've achieved has been phenomenal. So, Cody Wren, you worked with Jing Jing. You had to take that challenge on because, obviously, she had the creative vision, but not the technical know-how. Before we talk about it, you might just pick that up and just...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Cody Wren. I was working at one of the university research labs that Joe mentioned before. So I was working at the Games and Visual Effects Research Lab at the University of Hertfordshire. I was trained kind of in 3D games art and came from a pretty straightforward commercial games development background. So it's all kind of mostly games for entertainment and such. But when I graduated, I actually stayed at the university and moved into looking at research into other applications for games and visual effects and virtual reality. So we did a few things with basically 3D scanning and looking at historical sites and data visualization. But then we had the project come in, and it was because we were working with Create Converge as well. And so we had a Singularity brought in, and I got to meet Joe and Jing Jing very briefly. You know, we had like twice, I think, ever. And then lockdown happened, and everything was over video. But so we brought it down, and it was quite a funny meeting for me, because it was like, okay, so we want this forest, and I'm like, okay, and then we're like, and we want pieces of technology scattered around this forest, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then it was like, okay, we want this forest to be made entirely out of little points of light. And I was just like, oh no, how am I going to do this? And it was a very interesting challenge. I had a pretty good time working out how to make that happen. And it was pretty interesting. I'm actually quite happy with how that all came out, all the visuals
and so congratulations to you too. Well done. You were a great team. But what grew out of that was competitively, you put a bid in for the next round.
Yes.
And I was going, I don't know, you'd have to be really good.
Yeah. It was very competitive,
was great,
actually, because I heard about it and then I thought, well, maybe I should try and put one in then, Why don't I try and do one? And I put a bid in and there were 16 other projects, I think.
Yeah, got shortlisted.
Yeah, and it was very it was pretty competitive. So my project, Dichotomy, it was so it's a kind of, because I had to go back to kind of a foundation-y, artsy kind of university mode and stop being just commercial kind of games guy and try and get creative again. And I was thinking about what's kind of important to me and what do I think can only really be kind of expressed through VR as a medium. And something the whole thing was quite personal to me because it revolves around OCD, so obsessive compulsive disorder, which is something I've struggled with throughout my life quite a long time, and it's often very misrepresented and misunderstood in media, and because it's an irrational mental condition, it's actually quite difficult to just straight up explain to someone what it's like or what what the difficulties kind of arise are. And I thought, well, VR lets you literally place someone in a controlled environment where you control all of their kind of incoming senses and stimuli and environment, and that's kind of the perfect way to produce a sort of scenario where they might feel the same way someone with OCD might feel. So it was all kind of based around this kind of empathetic idea of getting people to kind of feel like what it's like to have OCD. And it was all, I kept it all very abstract and quite task-based rather than it being like a run through like a video story or anything like that. So yeah, and pitching it was quite fun. I actually, because I just to bring it down, describe what it is. It's a kind of rhythm-like game, but it's not really rhythm-based, and you. I might as well just put a picture up. Actually, that would be simpler. Yeah. Oh, we can play the trailer. Yeah.
Play the trailer, and then we'll talk about it. But you also worked with other researchers, didn't you, about the actual content?
I did, yes. Yeah, I worked with David Knight from Manchester Cognitive Behavioural Therapy. I spoke to OCD Action, and I was making sure that I wasn't trying to, because I was making sure I wasn't colouring it all with just my personal experience. I wanted to make sure I wasn't, that I had a good broader kind of scope. And I ended up changing a fair bit of the game just to kind of accommodate that, actually. It was quite informative for me.
Good.
But yeah.
Let's talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
approach playing the game? Do you want to give them, because they're going to play it afterwards, they can do it. So where's it?
Yes. Yeah. So I guess I will give a bit of a little bit of a mild kind of not a warning, but a
yeah, that's it. That's better.
yeah. It's quite the game is difficult. It's intentionally quite difficult because living with OCD is very difficult. There are certain things you can do to kind of make it easier a little bit, which is to kind of try and stay calm and to not try and hold on to things and be fastidious and perfect, and basically don't be obsessive and you'll perform better. General rule of thumb is like when you get into the game, you'll have kind of a set of little basically there's 5 levels. They're based around the 5 main forms of OCD, and each one is designed to kind of put you in a sort of slightly stressful scenario that will kind of trigger the same kind of stresses you might get from that form of OCD. And we don't have time to explain exactly how it does that, but it does that. And it can definitely be beaten. People have tried to tell me, no, you can't do it, it's too hard. Yes, you can. Yeah, so you'll just want to put the headset on, and you'll be in this weird, flowy kind of abstract spot, and there'll be like these little orbs on the menu, and you just need to pick one up, put it in the slot, and then you basically have this orb in front of you that represents your kind of mental state, and you want to kind of grow it by collecting these little particles that come down towards you and avoid the kind of harsh shard-like pieces from this shell around your kind of environment, because they will shrink it and make it break. And the idea is you're trying to break through this kind of thick shell around your environment, and to kind of break down that wall kind of between you and everyone else, because the condition does end up feeling like this big kind of dividing kind of it's a bit prisony. It makes it quite hard to connect with other people when you feel so disconnected that way. And I wanted to kind of get this idea of the less obsessive you are and the better you kind of move along with your day, the less of a wall there seems to be between you and everything around you. So yeah,
well done. No, it's going down really well, and well done, Cody. There's been a lot of work for you, but a big thing for you was that you took a creative lead rather than a technical response.
Yes, yeah.
That was a big
it was
move
quite fun
for you.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah, and I think you did great. It was really lovely piece of work. Thank you very much, Cody. So we'll just break off from the screen for a minute and ask you two to come up, shall we? And then we'll go back to Henry on the screen before we... So this is Molly and Adam. Molly and Adam are recent graduates, given the pandemic. I suppose it's a year now, isn't it? But graduate from University of Kent. And University of Kent, they applied for a very competitive round as a Lucid Theatre company. Do you just want to take it from there?
Yeah, sure. I've got my notes with me.
Oh, go on then.
This is the first time we've spoke in front of loads of people since graduating, which is it's very bizarre. But yeah, as Joe said, we're a Lucid Theatre company. We're a graduate theatre company from University of Kent, and we're actually there as residents at the moment as a graduating theatre. And basically, just to talk through what we do. So we create immersive and collective happenings that thoughtfully place the audience at the forefront of the theatrical experience. And our 3 core ideas are that we are immersive, collaborative, and experimental. And as you're all likely aware, the last year has not been kind to theatre, so it's really pushed our need to go more into experimental, which brings us to why we're standing here, I suppose.
Yeah, well, so, I was just sat at my desk one day wondering what the heck are we going to do. And I came across the Screen South's advertisement. I think it was on one of our university pages. And I said to Adam and Philip, our colleague, this looks like fun. It's a bit like the Black Mirror, what's it called? Bandersnatch thing that we would all watch, and we were looking at this other kind of website. I've got a mic now.
Sorry, it's going on. It's being streamed live.
Right. So yeah, we were looking at this other website called Bergenheim Trainer, which is a similar kind of thing where you'd sit in front of your computer and it would like track your facial expressions and the words you say, and trains you to get into this really exclusive club. And we were having a lot of fun playing around with these things, thinking, oh, well, this is kind of like an immersive type of theatre. Let's try and do this. I have no idea how to do it at all. And so, yeah, we were thinking about kind of ideas for this and stories, and a story that Philip wrote back in kind of February. Yeah, early. That's Philip in the background. He's also there. That's him. Yeah, he wrote this kind of autobiographical story about dating, and particularly the kind of interracial challenges he was faced with. And so we took this story and we were like, okay, how do we kind of, how do we merge the two of this kind of interactive media and this story that's quite personal? What are we going to do with it? So we put in an application for Screen South, and we did a pitch, and I was just laughing to myself now because I realised how. I mean, I really don't know why you picked us, because we've had no experience with film really, and so I think in our pitch we were like, just the three of us, we were like, right, we're going to do everything. I'll be the editor, like Adam will do all the filming, and Philip will do everything else. It was just like the three of us, and like the budget that we wrote out was like, yeah, we'll do it for like 3,000 or something. We can do it with that. That's fine.
Give us means, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that's where we started with it. And yeah, I think it's been a hell of a journey with where it is now.
Definitely a trial by fire.
It has been.
But we're on the other end of it.
Yeah.
So I've just got to ask, because the reason why we selected you is because your presentation deck was absolutely brilliant and your storytelling was really, really good. You just didn't have a clue how to bring the two together. And so that's what I'm talking about. Because everybody can bring things together if you work hard. It's having the ideas and the story and having an energy about you. That's what we're all looking for that. So that's exactly what you had. And you've done a lot of audience research by then, and your pack was a sort of beautiful marketing pack, which wouldn't have got you through on its own. But the storytelling and Philip's approach to writing that story, the way the three of you worked as a sort of dynamic team, the boundaries of who was producer, writer, director was very soft. So we knew that you would be flexible about roles and approaches, because you have to be when you're working cross-platform, with the budget that we were on, because it seemed like a lot of money to you, but in the real world, that's not a lot to do what you did. It was amazing what you did. So could you just talk then about, that's where you came in. You delivered the whole project in, it was end of March in the end, wasn't it? Beginning of April?
Yes. It came
this year.
Taster in June.
So you were commissioned... If it was.
Time is just a construct.
Because we went, finally, because we went through the whole development, the shortlisting, everything. You didn't actually get the letter to say you got it until October.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then, they'd never made a film before, they'd never made an interactive piece before, like, on screen. I think you've done a lot of work thinking about your audience and doing sort of pop-up events and stuff.
Yeah.
So we knew you had the grit to take it through. Because it does come down to that when you get to it. But then you had to learn the filmmaking process. You had to direct a 3-day shoot? 3-day shoot in Canterbury, which we squeezed in just luckily in the open moment. When you could film anywhere, but it was a very tight shoot. You had to recruit. You had to become a film producer as well as a theatre producer and an interactive producer. You had to learn technical skills. Just tell us about how you approached that. Working with the R&D and Jerry and Tom.
Well, yeah, they were just very supportive and very amazing.
Yeah. BBC R&D, if you're watching, thank you so much. Great
so
guys.
Talk about how, because it's a branching narrative piece,
Yes.
how many
Well,
who did you work with to take that, define it? You brought in a writer to work with you?
So
No, an infrastructure person really rather than a
yeah,
writer.
we had a fair few drafts of the script. I think at one point it was about 70 pages because I think we ran away with it a bit, like, oh, we could do all of these things that we wouldn't be able to do. And maybe someone wants to, I don't know, shout at Philip or just walk out. We could do that too. But then we found something called a branch and bottleneck system, which streamlined the process so much, which is basically the branches out this way, and then it always bottlenecks into a linear kind of strategy. And because of the technology we were using, which is Storyformer, we were able to know whereabouts the audience had been. So Philip at the end could kind of react and profile you in a way of how you've interacted with the experience. So there was reason for it always being a linear structure, really. Yeah.
So some of you all know what branching linear structure storytelling is, and some of you won't. But it's just that whole making decisions as you go along as a viewer, and you can make 3 or 4 different decisions, and you go on another pathway. So they have to write every possible option, you know. And given the frame and the time that they were working, you were phenomenal. You know, I'm so proud of you. No, because you delivered it. Because at one point I was thinking, oh my God, how is this ever going to get to this? And Philip, of course, you know, working with you as a writer and the 3 of you collaborated so well.
Yeah.
So just that's kind of great. Thanks, Barbara. There are 3 or 4 different devices that you can have a player meet Philip if you'd like to pursue.
I would just say as well, because I realise you haven't kind of said what it's about. Basically, the premise of before you kind of meet Philip, the idea is that you've met or you've been chatting online or something, and you agree to meet up with him at a bar, and you've just gone for a couple drinks, and basically the whole film is just you and him sat there having a conversation. Yeah, and that's the premise of the film.
All right. Hear me out. Okay. A soup is a liquidy wet meal, right? Well, as is cereal. Soup's made by boiling down like meat or fish or vegetables in stock or water or whatever. Well, rice puffs. Rice. That's a vegetable, isn't it? Is it? Okay, cornflakes. Corn's a vegetable, right? And milk is a sweet dairy broth. Rumor has it, you're the guy that invented cornflakes, that Kellogg guy. Well, apparently he made them for medical reasons, which was to help people stop masturbating. Weird, right? That can't be true. But anyway, what do you want to talk about?
So basically that's quite a nice moment that you get, which it starts off with kind of funny and awkward interactions that you would have on a first date, and trying to kind of capture that running through the dating process kind of now, which is yes, no, and we kind of wanted to show that, and it starts to get heavier and heavier and deeper as you go on throughout, and you learn a bit more about Philip and why he's there, and why he's so jovial, and it's just trying to get through, really. So
I suppose the other element to the film as well that the R&D team played a big part in is that we were able to track people's movements throughout, like people's decisions, and we were able to come out with a kind of outcome. There's no money for to basically summarize kind of how you've responded to Philip, it's almost like a sort of personality test. So you, at the end, like Philip kind of gives you your final kind of moments with each other. He kind of says to you like, oh, thank you for being so sympathetic, for example, or thank you for, maybe challenging me more or something like that. Yeah, so that was kind of another element that we added to it, the branching stuff. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, listen, we haven't got time to talk any more about it, but you're not going anywhere, and you're going to be at the back. You're going to be talking. They can talk to you about what you've done, because it's all about what's next. Come and do some more with us. Yeah. Brilliant. Well done. Thank you very much. Oh, and they've been you've been up at the Electric Medway, and you're going to be at the Margate Festival as well, and lots of festivals coming, which is great. They do a lovely installation in a bar. Thanks, guys. Thanks. 3 minutes to go. Yeah. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again. So Henry Driver did a piece called Secrets of Soil, and he worked with the John Innes research environmental soil specialists up in Suffolk or Norfolk. And he is an artist, creative artist, who is a farming background, and he's absolutely a soil activist. He's absolutely he's out there with the guys, trying to get people to change the world and do the right thing. So this piece he really wanted to make a protest piece about why people aren't engaging the soil. But in the end, he's gone for something that is much more exploring the world of soil, the whole world that's under our feet, and then leading people to his website, where then he becomes engaged in the activism side. So this is an exploration. It's a journey that he takes you on, and it's an interactive game. He can't be here tonight because he's under a tent somewhere. Finally got a holiday. So I'll just let Henry, who sent this over today, introduce it.
Hi, my name's Henry Driver, and I created Secrets of Soil. Apologies that I can't be there today. I hope you're having a fantastic time.
Thank you.
Secrets of Soil is an interactive digital journey that explores the hidden world of soil and its role in combating climate change. It was inspired by my family's attempts to make their farming practices carbon negative. And central to this way of working is to work with the life buried within the soil, to embrace it and look after it. And I just thought, what life in the soil? What lives there? And, isn't it just rocks and dirt? And when I came to understand that soil is a vital ecosystem brimming with life, that I really hatched upon that idea of creating this digital visualization of this, which would allow audiences to explore and interact with this microscopic world. A teaspoon of soil contains 1 billion bacteria. But what does that look like? And to gain a greater understanding and insight into this world, I met with leading plant science researchers from the John Innes Centre. They discussed research and imagery with me, and that helped to build upon my understanding of this world and really create a wealth of inspiration to draw upon for my artistic visualization of this ecosystem. The aim of the piece is to inspire people to think differently about soil, that it's not just dirt and mud, but it's brimming with life. But equally that depending on how we look after soil, it can really help us in our fight against climate change. Secrets of Soil is freely available online as a 360-degree video, which is viewable on YouTube, which will work on mobiles, tablets, and browsers. But there's also a fully interactive version, which is downloadable on Steam for PCs. So there's a variety of ways that you can engage with it. Please do check it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and yeah, have a fantastic time.
Henry said, God, it's a beautiful piece of work. It's really gorgeous. It's so lush. And I really do encourage you to have a look at it, because it opens your mind about what's going on under there. So there is an opportunity to watch it this evening, and we'll play it out on the big screen. But let's just play the trailer so you get a sense of how he's approached it.
soil is alive. It's truly the city that never sleeps. Millions of life forms tirelessly interacting and creating fertility in our beautiful soil. Continued life itself on this planet is utterly dependent on these microorganisms. Except, we are in danger of wrecking this underground galaxy.
They're very short stingers, these, aren't they? You have to go and watch. Anyway, so they're all available on Steam or BBC Taster. But if you go to our website, Barbara, is that our website? This is our website. Yeah, so if you go onto our website, there's links to all of the projects, all of the New Creatives projects, but in particular, these ones you can just go onto New Creatives, Interactive, and there are links through to the work, so you can see them there. But if you'd like to have a go on the Oculus or at the back, please do now. We're going to be here for another half an hour or 45 minutes. Any questions, anything? It's 6 o'clock now, and everybody's looking a bit like, I need to have some chocolate or I need to have some wine. So thank you so much for coming. Don't go. Please stay and have a little look if you'd like to, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jo. Thank you. I hope you got most of it on the mic. And thanks to Barbara and James and to the crew. They've been amazing. They've got these Oculus working because it's very different. Every time you set up the Oculus in a different space, it's quite a pain. But anyway, they've sorted it out. So thanks for coming and thanks, guys.